Another flat, dismal, underwhelming, toothless performance from Manchester City yesterday, costing us 3 points in the Premier League once again. I've got a controversial take for you that I think a lot of City fans are going to disagree with, unfortunately, and to be honest, I don't care. Really, that's what I'm here to do, is to give my opinion, and it's not on trend to criticise certain players, and it's on trend to criticise other players. You're looking at Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, those types of players, they're open. It's open season for those guys. They can get criticised left, right and centre. While I don't think either of them had a good game, by the way, where we lost the game yesterday was the wingers. Absolutely 100% yesterday. That's where the game fell down for yesterday for Manchester City. Have a look at these stats. Okay, so straight away, possession. Who cares? Who cares about possession anymore when it's meaningless possession? That's all it seems to be at the minute. It's achieving nothing. You know, you lose the game with 69 possession. The stat at the top, that's the one that matters. 1-0 to Forest. That's what matters at the end of the day. But I'm going to draw you to a new stat that I've introduced to highlight the lack of quality from our wide play yesterday, from the wingers in particular. Crosses and successful crosses. 17 crosses from Manchester City yesterday. 1 was successful. How are Nottingham Forest crossing the ball 18 times? More than us, for a start. More than us, with 31% possession. 7 of their crosses were on the money. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. So I wanted to have a look at the player stats, and I'm going to do something different this time as well. I'm actually going to go look at them in reverse. Rather than starting with Ederson and working your way to the front of the pitch, I'm going to start with Haaland and work my way backwards, because I think it's a little bit predictable at the back. I think the defence, I don't think there was too many problems there. And I think Ederson, there's an obvious thing to speak about for Ederson. I think the real problems for Manchester City start at the front. So rather than waste your time, I want to get into the meat of it right now and talk about Erling Haaland. I felt for him in some ways yesterday, but I was annoyed with him in other ways yesterday. So I think he can definitely point the finger to his left, to Savinho, and to his right, to Doku. And they actually both swapped wings, didn't they, to try and get some joy in this game. They ended up swapping wings to prove that Pep even sent them out in the second half. Right, you guys swap because it's not working. I tried it a different way, still didn't work in that game. He has to make something happen, though. It's the definition of insanity, isn't it? To continuously do the same thing over and over and over and over again, but it's not working. Haaland has to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and do something different. You know, say, right, you guys are not delivering that ball to me. Don't stand in the box then and just wait for it aimlessly. Go and grab the game. Go and drop deep. Say, fuck you then. I'm going to go and get the ball and do something. Make something happen. Like he did when he picked the pocket of Chris Wood. Go and attack a player. Go and take the ball off a player like that and just have a shot. As a result, he got a shot. 1 of 2 shots in the whole game from Erling Haaland. So while I definitely have a lot of sympathy for him, the service was almost non-existent for Erling Haaland yesterday, which is why he had an almost non-existent performance. Totally anonymous, but he has to do something different. If the game's going that way, just once, try something different. I don't know if you follow cricket. If you do, a fast bowler, if you're approaching the wicket and you're just going fast ball after fast ball after fast ball, and the batsman's just defending, occasionally throw a slow ball, because he won't expect it. It'll throw him off. Do something different. Has to be something different. And I think Haaland has to look at himself sometimes and say, well, yeah, fine, I'm not getting the service, but you can make something happen. Marmoush. Too little in the game in terms of time to actually do anything. He grabbed a few defensive contributions, but even he started to contribute to the poor crosses that were coming into the box yesterday. But I mean, for such a limited amount of time on the pitch, there's not too much to speak about for Marmoush. Right, let's get on to the wingers now. Doku. I think Ola Aina had a fantastic game yesterday. He pocketed him, certainly for the first half hour of that game. Like I said, they even swapped wings for the second half to try and get some joy against Nico Williams, and Savinho against Ola Aina. Still no joy for me. Fantastic dribbling numbers. Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely sensational. He's such an eye-catching, electric footballer, Jeremy Doku. I'm not denying the ability of Jeremy Doku. It's the final pass or the cross just has to be better. It has to be better. There's no two ways about it. For someone who's got successful dribbles, 7 out of 10, to only have 1 shot on target, 1 key pass, and 0 successful crosses speaks volumes to the problems that were happening on that pitch yesterday for Manchester City. Savinho. Just copy and paste what I said for Doku, really. Just copy and paste what I said. Arguably, it was worse because I think he got into better opportunities to do some serious damage yesterday. 6 crosses, more than double the amount of attempts to Jeremy Doku, yet 0 of those were successful as well. So 9 crosses from Jeremy Doku and Savinho, 0 on target. Not one of them found a Manchester City shirt. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And this is a Savinho, by the way, who once he was at Girona, had the best crossing statistics in Europe, which is scary to think you've gone from that level of quality and you've dropped so much at Manchester City. Just get both of them in the summer. Bursting to the byline, crossing the ball. Bursting to the byline, crossing the ball. Drill after drill after drill. They need practice. They've got to get this right into next season. Because I think there's 2 scintillating players that when they get it right, they are devastating players. Unplayable, unstoppable players. They have to get it right. And if they both get it wrong on the same day, we have a day like we did yesterday. It only takes one of them to get it right. You know, because it's a 2-pronged attack from Manchester City that's lethal when those 2 players, only one of them has to get it right. And not one moment delivered yesterday from either of them. So that's where the game fell down for us yesterday. And as much as people want to blame Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden, yeah, that's the in-trend thing to do, isn't it, nowadays? Because people get into the habit of criticising the same players over and over and over. But yesterday, having watched the game back thoroughly and examined the numbers, there's clearly a problem with our wing player yesterday. It just wasn't good enough. Phil Foden, like I said, not as bad as some people make out. Still not good enough, though. So as much as I'm defending him a little bit, I still think he could have done much, much more. I thought in his defence, though, the only successful cross of the game came from Phil Foden yesterday. The other one that's down as an unsuccessful cross was drilled into an incredibly dangerous area in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot, into the most dangerous area to defend, and Haaland caught on his heels, wasn't even in the box. So you're looking at Haaland for that, for me, as much as Phil Foden should have had 2 out of 2 successful crosses, and Haaland should have been on the end of one of those Phil Foden crosses. And now, Phil Foden, by the way, I still don't think he pulled enough strings in that game yesterday. I actually thought a lot of the danger for Savinho and Doku came from Phil Foden and his ability to link up with those play. He still needs to offer more, though, Phil Foden, because I still felt like he floated in and out of that game. People want to see goals, people want to see assists. That's why people criticise Phil Foden. But he had a job yesterday to bring Savinho and Doku into the game, and I felt like he did his job yesterday. He certainly wasn't an exciting performance from Phil Foden, getting enough shots away or getting any assists, because we didn't score any goals, so everyone points the finger at Phil Foden. But, I mean, you've got to look at the players that never get criticised nowadays, and that's Jeremy Doku and Savinho. I'm sorry, they just were not good enough yesterday. Bernardo Silva, such a frustrating season. Again, I'm not here to defend him because I think he was well off it yesterday. Still not good enough. His defensive numbers, though, are really, really good. You cannot question Bernardo Silva's work ethic. Dribbled past far too easily, though, as you can see with those numbers, and that's an indication of the counter press for me. He's just not got the legs to get in the faces of defenders who've won the ball back. For him trying to win the ball back and quickly, that 3-second rule of winning the ball back as quickly as possible, as we have all seen through all the Pep Guardiola squads, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, all the Pep sides have had that trait. We don't have that ability to win the ball back quickly anymore. And he was dribbled past 3 times yesterday, Bernardo Silva, which is an indication of the counter press is failing Manchester City right now. He was on the pitch to create, though, Bernardo Silva yesterday. So while he has got defensive numbers that are really, really good, like the rest around him, his link-up play just wasn't quite good enough. He contributed to moments in the game that were just not good enough. End ball, final pass, final cross, just not good enough. He didn't create enough yesterday, Bernardo Silva, and he was on the pitch to create yesterday. He was much higher up the pitch than Nico Gonzalez. People thought he was going to play alongside him. He did on occasions, but we didn't need him to more often than not because we were on the attack. We had control of the ball, and Bernardo Silva just wasn't good enough yesterday either. De Bruyne came on the pitch with purpose, I thought, for the 21 minutes that he played. He looked lively, got stuck in. He just couldn't pull any decisive passes off. I felt like there was an intention there from Kevin De Bruyne, but the limited amount of time that he was on the pitch for, there isn't too much to actually get into there for De Bruyne. But yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? The guy's on his last legs at the minute, energy-wise, and yeah. Disappointing result for Manchester City yesterday, but De Bruyne is not to blame. Kovacic, I wanted him to start, actually, but 29 minutes, he was sloppy. He was really sloppy yesterday. Passing accuracy speaks volumes to that. That's actually a total of 20 out of 25 passes completed. So that's 5 misplaced passes in the space of 29 minutes. It's not good enough from someone in his position. He didn't win any of his duels. I did think he nearly equalised. There was a moment where it could have been a very different story for Kovacic, where if that volley on the edge of the box in stoppage time goes into the top corner, and we're talking millimetres, we're talking about a different Kovacic performance, and the whole narrative changes, doesn't it? But here we are. It went that side of the post. Disappointing. Kind of the same for Nico Gonzalez. I felt like if that thunderous effort from Nico Gonzalez in the first half, what an effort that was when it clipped the post. If that goes in, we're talking about a different performance, but he had to come off because of that yellow card that he picked up, and he was walking a tightrope at that point. He did get caught dilly-dallying a few times, I thought, Nico Gonzalez. He lost too many ground duels for me as well. He's strong in the air, though. I've always seen that there's a positive aerial duel-winning ability from Nico Gonzalez. He reminds me of Rodri a lot, especially the first season of Rodri, where you're going to see glimpses of absolute, what a promising midfielder we've got here, genuinely top level, top draw midfielder we've got. First season getting into the swing of things and learning the Manchester City ways and the Pep Guardiola ways, most importantly. He's going to make mistakes like Rodri did in his first season, but look what a player Rodri turned out to be. So I think Nico Gonzalez can, even if he can follow the footsteps, even some of the footsteps that Rodri has trodden down on that path he's gone down to win a Ballon d'Or, Nico Gonzalez is going to be a class act. I really believe that. Rico came on for 29 minutes, looked okay. I thought he carried the ball forward well on a number of occasions. You can see that with the number of successful dribbles that he made. He got beat within 30 seconds of him being on the pitch, though. I mean, I still don't know what his position is for me. He gets beat far too easily to call him a right back. He gets skinned too many times. I don't know what his position is. I don't think he's good enough to play in Manchester City's midfield. I think he's a squad player for Manchester City going forward. He's a 7 out of 10 in so many departments, but he doesn't excel in any departments. For me, he's a jack of all trades, master of none type player, and it's a frustrating situation he must find himself in because I don't think he's a right back. He's not good enough to be a starter in midfield for Manchester City, and that's about it really for Rico, and it's a shame. Núñez. He certainly wasn't terrible. His speed definitely came in handy a few times as Hudson-Odoi was coming down that left-hand side on the counter-attack at the odd occasion there. But we just don't have a right-back that can defend, can we? He's dribbled past twice, kind of the same as Rico Lewis, the same can be said. But Núñez isn't even a right-back. He's not once said he's a right-back. Pep's put him in there. We bought him as a midfielder. So, yeah, he had to come off. Protection, same as Nico Gonzalez for that yellow card. But I don't think he had a bad game, Núñez, to be honest. Now we can get into the slightly more positive talk, and Diaz is definitely up there. Both Khusanov and Diaz, they just did not deserve to lose this game. They do not deserve to be on the losing end of this result whatsoever. They both played really well at the back, I thought. The numbers are really good. I do think Khusanov had more of the standout defending contributions in this game, but these two, for me, they're the partners now. Going forward, these two have to be the two centre-backs that play all of our games for the rest of the season for Manchester City. And long may it continue. As long as those two keep playing, I think we'll do okay for the season. We'll get the job done and get Champions League football, which is the bare minimum we require for this season. Vardiol, he played pretty well, I thought, heavily involved. Really good numbers, as you can see. I've had to mark down his score, though, so while we're going to talk about Ederson in a minute, he has to take some responsibility for that goal because he not only was the gap between Hudson-Odoi and Vardiol himself too big to begin with. For that switch was very, very easy to do. He's way too close to Ruben Diaz. I don't know why he was so far over when Diaz and Khusanov had Chris Wood marked at that point. There was no need for that gap to even be there. Once he recognised and the ball landed at the feet of Hudson-Odoi, Vardiol's got to get out there, try and prevent him from getting into the penalty area. Certainly not as quick as he did. He made no effort to get into the face of Hudson-Odoi at that point, who was playing on the right wing at that point. He's got to get in his face and stop him getting into the penalty areas. It was an invitation, come into the penalty area, and shouldn't have happened. Even having said that, though, the shot that took place after it certainly wasn't his fault. Khusanov, man of the match performance. Do you know what? I've enjoyed the hype train. And while I've been a bit dubious about how good he actually is, because I do think there's been an excessive amount of hype. Because you know me, I'm going to speak honestly on this channel, and I think a lot of other content creators, whether it be on YouTube, Twitter, or whatever, everyone's pandering to the Uzbeks, let's be honest, because there's a lot of them. They're all getting involved in the communities, and which is fantastic to see, and spreading the word of Manchester City to countries that had no knowledge of us probably before that, are now getting heavily involved with Manchester City and making sure he wins man of the match by spamming the vote for him. Fantastic. It's not pandering. This isn't pandering. This is the real deal, man. This guy is genuinely the real deal. And while I was dubious 2 or 3 weeks ago, thinking we were just getting a bit overly excited about Khusanov here, this isn't excitement. This isn't hype. This is genuine class act defender we've got here. What a performance it was yesterday. I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong. One of the shots that he blocked, he was a fucking warrior, mate. Just threw himself at it. This guy's going to be throwing himself on grenades for Manchester City. This is that guy. We need this. We need someone. Another, Ruben Diaz is in that same ballpark of defending like that. You know, body on the line type defending. Diaz is that, but I'd argue he's probably the only one we've got that's willing to put his head in where it hurts. You know, Khusanov is the type of player that he'll put his head where other players are scared to put their feet. Do you know what I mean? He's that sort of guy. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. And it's not just the defensive contributions, the composure on the ball as well. There was moments where he just let it run through his legs and did a little dummy, and he's skinning the press, you know, and just a level of composure, passing accuracy, spot on. Yeah, a near perfect performance from him, and he's on the losing end of a result. It's just devastating. I feel for him and Ruben Diaz in particular in this game. Ederson cost us the game, let's be honest. I mean, this is following a man-of-the-match performance against Spurs. You've got to be consistent. Like, okay, there's going to be a moment in the game where people are going, well, he made a great save. Yes, he did. Fantastic save. I don't care. It's like, that's his job. Like, a la Roy Keane. It is. He's right. Keane is absolutely right. It's the keeper's job. They've got to do it for the 90 minutes, though. It's no good doing one brilliant save and then letting an absolute fart into the near post like that. It was a whiffer of a shot. It was crap. Absolute shit from Hudson-Odoi. He didn't even connect with it properly. He passed it in. How is his hand not getting behind that? From someone, it's on his strong hand as well. It's so disappointing from Ederson. And I mean, you've got to ask the question now. It's all good and well saying, oh, yeah, he's changed the game, Ederson. He's a revolutionary goalkeeper. He's evolved the position that is a goalkeeper. Yes, 100%. And while we don't have defending to do, it's fantastic because all he does is get on the ball and spray passes that a midfielder would give the right arm to have that ability to do such a thing like that. You know, Ederson's an unbelievable distributor of the football. He's getting a couple of assists a season. What's not to love? But when we start having to defend, and we're in the season we're having right now, where we're getting a lot of shots that we face in dangerous situations, you want a keeper who can save the fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? And he's not consistent enough in that department. We already had that warning in the second half before the great save, where it was a side foot volley from Anderson at the back post, and Ederson holds his hands out like that. It goes through his hands and hits his chest, and Ederson plays it off like, yeah, I sort of meant to do that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You meant to catch it, and you didn't. And if you meant to catch it like this, where's the ball going? Into the net. It went through your hands, and it was lucky that it went through your hands and hit you in the chest. Got away with that one. So there was the warning, and then the danger happened, the problem happened at the end of the game, and we lose 1-0. I'm sorry, Ederson, it's just not good enough. We need a keeper that can, in this moment, if next season Manchester City can dominate the ball and we concede half a chance per game, or even one chance per game, that's not as clear-cut as the chances that we're facing right now. Yeah, Ederson, stick him in number one. No problem, because it's all good and well when we've had the seasons that we've had right now, but right now, we have a lot more defending to do. We're conceding too many chances. So you want a keeper that can give us a hope in preventing turning those chances into non-goals, you know, stop them from becoming goals, those chances. And Ederson is not the man for the job for me right now. So for me, he should be dropped. Ortega, like I said in the middle of the season, should be our number one goalkeeper. Even though he doesn't have the distribution of Ederson, fine, yeah. It's the give and take. Is it worth it in Ederson's situation and Manchester City's situation right now? I'm not sure it is. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you disagree with me. I've said a lot of controversial things that I know a lot of City fans are going to disagree with, and it's what I'm here to do is give my opinion. So I want to hear yours most importantly. But what do you think for Manchester City's season as well going forward? Because I'd argue the inconsistencies of Manchester City, it doesn't really matter with the FA Cup. You know, we win 2 games. I thought we played really well against Spurs, in particular in the first half. A little bit lacklustre in the second half, but we should have been 4-5-0 up by half-time against Spurs, away at Spurs, at a ground that we're notoriously difficult places to visit for Manchester City. You know, not a great performance against Plymouth, but we got the job done. Another win. So 2 wins back to back. Good days to be a Manchester City. Then the Forest game comes along and we lose, and the manner that we lose, it just epitomises this season so far. But I would argue you don't need consistency in the FA Cup. You've got to turn up on the day, beat the opponent that's put in front of you. And we can do that. I know we can do that because we've been doing it all season. We did it against Forest in the middle of that shocking result, that run of form that we had before Christmas and during the Christmas period, where we were losing game after game after game after game, and all of a sudden we just beat Forest 3-0 at home, completely out of the blue. That's the FA Cup. You know, that's what we could do in the FA Cup and bumble our way through to another piece of silverware, but we've got to turn up on the day. But if we have a day like we did yesterday against Forest, against Bournemouth, away in the FA Cup, we're getting knocked out. Let's be honest, we're getting knocked out. But who knows, with this Manchester City side Blues. Let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now.